Microsoft, this is being made just before the earnings tonight. We are not red, we are gold. Everything in the studio is gold today. We've just been doing a gold special, an NVIDIA special, and it has a lot to do with Microsoft. And we do have, as a special guest, live on the show now, going to give you a chart perspective of where we might see the buy zone, sell zone, support levels for tonight's earnings particularly. But also, I'm looking very, very bullish in tech at the moment, specifically NVIDIA. But Microsoft is after hours tonight. You may want to join us for that. There'll be a link below and above and left and right where I am sitting right now. Join us, but I am making this just before the earnings in a live show. So without further ado, let's go over to Sensei, who can provide us a chart. So Sensei, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on the show, and I apologize that my camera isn't working tonight.
Don't worry about that. What we need is to know where the buy zones, the sell zones. Microsoft earnings is just around the corner, just an hour and a half away. You've just been listening to my gold video. It's a special evening, I believe, for tech. NVIDIA, 3x of the S&P, 2x of the NVIDIA. But now we're talking Microsoft. Everything's been sold, oversold, in my opinion, to move into the Russell. And now it's all going to come back, because everyone's made a quick grab, a quick bit of profit. That will dump and it'll all come flooding back. I believe so. But now give me your opinion on Microsoft. Sensei, over to you.
Yeah, so slightly different to NVIDIA, Microsoft doesn't have that major support level like we saw on the NVIDIA video chart I just did. If you haven't watched it, you can find it at the end of the video. But that had major support around that $100 mark. Microsoft, however, it's been in this nice uptrend. It does have that same trend line that NVIDIA does, about going up on this trend line. It is very close to the trend line. It is actually slightly below the trend line now, so we need this earnings to be good, otherwise you lose that trend line. But what we had with NVIDIA was this upwards moving trend line and a horizontal trend line coinciding together to make me more bullish. However, this doesn't have that horizontal trend line to go along with that idea of a strong level of support. Yes, we are on a support, but it's not a very strong support. So if the earnings is not great, if the earnings is mediocre, then we might start losing this upwards momentum, which we've had for a while. You can see this upwards momentum, this trend line I have in green. We've had 1, 2, 3, and nearly 4 touch points, and we're on our 4th or 5th touch point here. We might start losing this trend line, and if you start losing an upwards trend line, you can lose your trend to the upside, and a new trend might form. If we lose this trend line, as I said, with maybe mediocre earnings, bad earnings, then what level of support do I see? These are the levels where maybe you want to set up limit orders in case it is a bad earnings, in case traders are trading the same trend line that I'm looking at. People might sell their stock once, they might have stop loss orders under trend lines, and that might cause some selling. Where can that selling take us? Well, the first level I might set up a limit order for the earnings would be $387, somewhere maybe $384. That was our previous high. That can be tested as support, but the major support would be the previous all-time high where we had a big sell-off ensue from. That sell-off took us 38%, so that is a major level of resistance. It was in the past. That hasn't been tested as support yet, so that would be a major level which I can see coming back on Microsoft, and that's $350. So that's my major buy level. It might not happen overnight. That might be the next trend. This was the trend to the upside. If the earnings wasn't brilliant, we might trend to the downside until the next earnings, maybe something like that, and then we might bottom out at around $350. So $350 is that major support, in my opinion. The RSI is at 45. We have seen the RSI lower than this before. It is not it's not oversold. It's coming into the bearish control zone. So be careful with Microsoft. I'd say have your limit order set up in case it is a bad earnings. If it is a good earnings, then we can continue this trend to the upside, and this could just be a test of the upwards trend. But if it is bad earnings, then there isn't major support right under the level we are at now, and that's why I would have two levels where I would buy, which is $384 and $349 for Microsoft.
Thank you, Sensei. Stay on the line as I just round this video out. So there you go, a chart analysis provided by Sensei Crypto. Always very, very welcome guest on our show, a partner here on the show. Thank you, Sensei. We've got the Microsoft earnings. I'm making this during a video just before the earnings. So if you're watching this afterwards, click above my head and down below in the description, you'll find the earnings for Microsoft. And you'll also find the chart that Sensei was just talking about at the beginning, where he just done an NVIDIA chart as well. Very, very important. You don't want to miss that. And also I did a gold special. That's why the studio is all gold, not red. It's definitely gold. I can show you the difference. Red is much more bleak. This is definitely gold. Go and check that out. And it was an hour-long special on NVIDIA and why I see that we're going to 3x the S&P and double NVIDIA over the next medium to short term. Medium to long term. Okay, over here I shall put the Microsoft event, and perhaps down here I'll put the gold event or something. All right, I haven't decided yet. I'll decide later on. Until then, as always, take care of yourselves and each other.